Hello, Wairarapa. 8 o'clock, Thursday, the 14th of January, and what a lovely day it's going to be. Morena. It's Rob Maunsell here with you for the next 45 or 50 minutes, hosting Move, Mingle and Play. That's our MMP show, which gives you information about all the exciting things that are happening in the Wairarapa. To start the show, I'm going to tell you a little bit about probably one of the most exciting sports events that happens in the Wairarapa each year. It's the Wairarapa Classic Cycle Race. In fact, it's called the New Zealand Cycle Classic. It started in Masterton last night outside Mitre 10. There was a 10K team time trial, and the team that won it was no less than the New Zealand national team, consisting of Finn Fisher-Black, Ollie Jones, Lawrence Pithy, Ruben Thompson, Corbin Strong and Regan Goff, and they were amazing. Not a big crowd out there, but they were 10 seconds ahead of the second team, which was Black Spoke. Of course, Black Spoke have a local favourite, Aaron Gates, whose mum lives here. I happened to meet her walking back to the car after the event, which was quite exciting in its own way. But it's a wonderful event. It continues today with stage 2, finishing at the Manuka Street Golf Club outside the Masterton Golf Club. It's a 158k race, starting from, I think, somewhere in town. They'll be away for about 4 hours in the countryside and then hooning up Manuka Street, which is right outside my place. So we're all going to dress up and go out and greet them as we did last year. And then tomorrow, stage 3 is finishing in Cambridge Road in Martinborough. It's 127k. Stage 4 on Saturday, 125.6k. That's the hill climb day, finishing up at the top of Admiral Hill in Gladstone. And stage 5 on Sunday, they all disappear down to Wellington. I'm not quite sure whether they're racing over the hill, probably not. But it finishes in Lambton Quay in Wellington. So do get out and support our cyclists. They're the most amazing athletes. They're very dedicated. They put a lot of work in to get as fit as they are, and the skill level of riding those bikes is something quite amazing. So today we're going to have a special guest on our show, Dr. Warwick Murray, who's the Associate Professor of Geography from Victoria, among other things. He's also one of our local musicians, plays and sings whenever he can, and he's very good. So we're going to talk about his favourite research subject, which is globalisation. We're going to talk about how the world's changed with COVID and all the international restrictions and changes that have happened economically. And then we're going to move on probably quite quickly to talk about music. So we can welcome Warwick in about 10 minutes. Just to get the musical side of things going, I'd like you to listen to this, and I hope you can watch it as well. It's the Wellington International Ukulele Orchestra playing a Bob Dylan song.
You say everything can be replayed, yet every distance is not near. So I remember
Hello, everybody. Now we're going to have the pleasure of a discussion with my dear friend Warwick Murray. Warwick, are you there?
Hello there. Doc, how are you?
Very good, very good.
Good morning, listeners.
I'm just not quite sure which channel you're on. Are you coming through on that one?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, I'm going to just move the microphone, and I hope people can hear us having this chat now. Yeah. So how are things going down there in Wellington today? Is it?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful down here today, Doc. It's nice and sunny, and it's typical Wairarapa weather, actually.
Yeah.
Nice and sunny and still and clear.
Ah, beautiful.
Yeah.
So you're on holiday at the moment?
That's right. More or less on holiday. I mean, we're all kind of on leave at the moment, whilst we prepare for next year at the university and get things together. Actually, I mean, this time of year actually is often the busiest time because it's where you are literally preparing for the next year.
Yeah.
And, so, you know, the work behind the scenes is pretty intense usually, but I personally am on holiday. In fact, a lot of us have been asked to go on leave because of the pandemic to reduce the leave balances.
Yes.
So lots of us have done that.
And can you teach from home? Have you got into that racket?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. From trimester 1 last year, so the first half of last year and the second half of last year as well. We had to deliver our teaching both online and in person where possible. So yes, we have to do stuff online. We record lectures and upload them, and then the students watch them. It's not the ideal situation, to be honest.
No.
But it's better than nothing.
But can you still finish your lecture with your ukulele playing a song summarising the content of the lecture? Is that still part of the procedures?
I mean, unfortunately for the students, even more so, because I get the chance to record it and actually turn it into a bit of a production. So
really? Yes, you're going up market with the production side now.
Well, I don't know about upmarket, but certainly, certainly pre-recorded.
Does that mean a DVD is available of all the previous clips?
No, you'll be glad to know that is not the case.
Oh, no. Oh, golly. Yes, well, you know, you have a reputation for being the singing professor.
Yeah.
And I think entertainment's a very big part of education, isn't it?
Yeah, I really think it should be. And it's a great way to engage students, to get them to want to come to class. It's a great way to kind of break barriers with them and make sure that they don't feel that they're being talked down to. And it's also a great way of helping them retain information and ideas and concepts that are important.
Yeah.
So if you can have a laugh and a bit of a sing-song and a connection in class, you find that the performance of the class is much, much better than otherwise.
Yes, yeah, and they've got something to talk about with each other.
That's right.
Kind of, haven't they?
Exactly. And, and they might say, oh, gosh, he's annoying. We'll avoid that class. But fortunately, some of them do come back. And, so I'm very grateful for that. And it also, I suppose it sets it apart from other classes that might be a little drier.
Yes, yes. A little bit of a competitive element creeping in there.
Possibly.
Yeah. Do you get ratings?
Yeah, get ratings, yeah.
Good. Oh,
yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, the students rate classes at the end of the year, so we get our school report just like the students do.
Yeah. So tell me, you've had a research interest and become quite a world authority on the subject of globalisation.
Right.
So what's happening in that realm at the moment?
Well, I'm not sure if I'm a world authority, but I've certainly written a lot and researched a lot on it in South America and the Pacific and in our part of the world as well. So the impacts of global business and global corporations and global capitalism on people's lives, really, in localities. So at the moment, of course, we're in a period that's kind of really unprecedented in some ways, although it's got echoes of the Great Depression and the interwar period in terms of the economic downturn followed by various structural problems that we're experiencing. At the moment, of course, because of the restrictions on air travel and so on, and tourism. You could argue that some have argued rather that we're in a phase of a kind of reckoning or a restructuring of the whole model, really, that would move away from complete reliance on interconnection and internationality towards something that's much more locality based, because you could make the argument that a lot of the problems we're facing today, economic problems of contagion and problems of conflict like we're seeing in the United States, and problems certainly of health pandemics are a direct consequence of the model of globalization that we've been following. So it's almost as if we're being forced to reconsider it. Having said that, I don't know. I think once this is over, we'll probably forget very quickly and go back to what we were before. But there's certainly a big questioning of the idea of open borders and open markets and open social systems, really, which could be positive. If we protect ourselves better. It could also be very negative as well, because the consequences for trade and therefore for poverty and other things, particularly in poorer countries, could be very devastating, actually. And of course, in all of this, it's the poorer countries that are bearing the brunt. I mean, obviously, in the current pandemic, they bore the brunt as well in the financial crisis, and they generally bear the brunt of this model of globalization, really, which tends to kind of extract their the resources they have and turn them into something that's useful for the wealthier world, often at a very low price. So, so I think I personally think it is time to reconsider the model and to try and come up with something more sustainable and equitable and ultimately more sensible, really.
But that's going to require a pretty strong and determined leadership, isn't it? Because there are very powerful forces that want the current model to get back into gear.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Do you see these leaders emerging for taking us into a new dynamic, a new chapter?
Yes and no, I suppose. I mean, there are isolated examples, aren't there? And I guess our own leadership would be amongst that. There are other places across the world, in Iceland and various other places, that are also quite enlightened in that respect. But generally speaking, no. I mean, this is why, we're 12 years after the financial crisis, 13 years after the financial crisis, and really, the global financial system hasn't changed, and precisely because of the things you mentioned, the powers that be behind the politicians, if you like, the corporations and whatnot, are still very much in charge, and it's in their interest to make sure that those borders remain open for investment and trade, and the model is pursued. But having said that, I personally think it's just we're at the kind of beginning of the end of it in many ways. And if you look at the students these days, and the student climate movement and the student equality movement, and of course Black Lives Matter movement, often involving young people, you can see in there definitely seeds for a new governance system. I think eventually, when those people come to be the leaders. So it might take another decade or two before we really get meaningful reform of the system. Hopefully it won't be too late by then, but
because the planet's really screaming out for a whole new way of being appreciated, and an awareness of the dynamics that make it tick.
Exactly,
isn't it?
Absolutely, and that's therein lies the problem, really, because according to the best models that we've got of various aspects of climate change, we're on a course at the moment that's clearly not sustainable, and we do have to make radical changes. And unfortunately, those leaders are coming through now, but it would be useful if they were here right now, of course. So I do think that a lot of what we're seeing is the culmination of all of these pressures and all these forces coming to bear on and effectively send us a warning. And
because you've got political systems that play into it as well, which ensure continuing of a certain approach to choosing leadership and arranging power structures. You know, and then we hear what's happening in Russia, and how they're becoming super manipulative, and no one's even recognizing what they're doing, almost as if they've declared war, but no bullets have been fired. You know, I mean, I don't know. That's just something I read in the paper, so I'm not journalisting this thing, but it looks like it's being reported pretty seriously. Yeah,
absolutely. No, I think there's a whole, really, I mean, there's a whole power shift going on in the world at the moment in a geopolitical sense. Obviously, we're seeing a move away from the post-war order, which was clearly the United States at the helm, and Great Britain and the allies behind it. And obviously, we're in a kind of multipolar world now, where we've got obviously China, very, very powerful, set to become the most powerful within the next couple of decades, economically and politically, and then other kind of vying powers, if you like Russia and India and so on. And ultimately, it might be that geopolitical moment that's actually more dangerous than climate change eventually. You know, because as you say, there are lots of conflicts going on, some of which are not explicitly obvious, but certainly have the power to change lives vastly, and the way we relate to the planet as well. Absolutely.
So how is it for you as a research scientist collecting data so that you can look at these things and, you know, develop the kind of more objective view and then report that?
Yeah, well, it's I mean, that's what we do. And in a subject like development studies and human geography, those are my two kind of disciplinary areas. We do rely on actually being able to go to the field, and we send our master's students and our PhD students, and we go ourselves with research grants and talk to people, interview people, gather data, economic data, secondary data about the impacts of various forms of investment or various energy projects related to globalization. But it requires actually going there, and at the moment we can't go there, so we're having to rely very much on secondary data. You know, and there's lots and lots of problems with that, because you can't necessarily verify that it's true, and it's difficult to come by. So the whole pandemic is having an enormous impact on research science, especially social science, and indeed science, natural science as well. So there's a big shift, a huge shift going on, and I guess you know, as it settles down, hopefully, fingers crossed, it will become the research area. You know, the idea of contagion and pandemics and how we deal with them, how we prevent them, what the social impacts are, what the economic impacts are. But it's going to be very difficult to get that data, and that's the challenge, definitely.
Just in case there are listeners who've just joined us, Warwick, I'd just like to reintroduce you, everybody. I'm talking to Dr. Warwick Murray, who's an Associate Professor of Geography at Victoria University and one of the world authorities on globalization and systemic change. So geography here is not just about contours and pastures and climate. It's really about political machinations, and that's what we're talking about. So I hope you're enjoying it. Warwick, should we move on to talk a bit about the music scene?
Oh, go on then.
Yeah, because I mean, aren't we in heaven?
That's our first love, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we can't make any money doing it. That's the problem.
That is the problem.
No one's going to pay us to go out and have fun with our instruments and our voices, which I've got not much of a one at the moment.
Oh well.
Yeah. So what's on the cards for you? You're doing your Murray Brothers?
That's right.
Yes.
That's right, Doc. Yeah. So just released a little album on online, Spotify and Apple, called Smile, and I wrote the songs some time ago, but I basically recorded them during the quarantine during the lockdown.
Yeah.
And my brother as well did his parts and kind of sent them to me. That's the joy of recording these days. You can do parts in different parts of the country and indeed different parts of the world.
Where does he live?
He lives in Auckland. Yeah, he's on the North Shore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Stafford. Yeah, Stafford. So you know, you can assemble these things and put them together with the technology we've got. So we've got a new album called Smile, and we call it Smile because, well, really, it's like, I suppose, it's an antidote, really, to you know, some of the more negative perceptions of what's going on. You know, I was quite inspired, very inspired, really, by people's reaction to the pandemic here in our country, and the way people smiled their way through it, and of course, led by people at the top, all the way down to the average person on the street. You know, there was a very positive attitude. So a couple of the songs are actually about that. Even though they're blues songs, they're rhythm and blues songs. They're not deeply meaningful lyrically or anything like that. But yeah, we thought we'd call it Smile, and you know, it as a way of celebrating the fact that we can actually move around, can actually play gigs, and we're one of the only countries in the world where that can take place. Yeah.
Hey, Warwick, I'm going to have to come back to you. I've got one of the palliative care nurses giving me a ring, and so I've got to stop this call, get a song on the radio show, and then I'll get back to you.
No worries at all.
Okay, talk to you again soon. We're going to talk music, and Smile sounds great. I should be able to get one of the songs on Spotify.
Yeah, you should.
And I'll play it. I'll play it, and then we'll talk about it.
I think you like. Okay.
Hey, lovely chatting. Thanks. In case I don't get back to you, have a lovely day, and we look forward to making some music together quite soon.
Okay. Well, all the best to the Wairarapa, and we'll see you soon. I'm coming back today.
Oh, good. You still got a place in Martinborough?
Yes, got a place in Martinborough, very, very luckily. Yeah,
lovely.
Beautiful place. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, go well, and we'll talk again soon if we can manage it.
Okay, Doc. Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye. Hey everybody, I'm just going to play a Luke Hurley song for you while I take this call from outside.
It's not easy in a small town, 6 kids and the Catholic Church to frown on you with a holy judgment. Your mama run away with a cowboy. She left you holding the baby and the toys. She was making up for all she sacrificed. Everybody's doing their best. It's a holy mess. Everybody's saying their prayers. Your grandma liked to drink or two. 20 years passed by before she knew. She woke up on the kitchen floor, sober. It was a rude awakening when nobody looked the same, and they can't forgive the pain it caused them. Everybody's doing their best. It's a holy mess. Everybody's saying their prayers. At the end of the day, don't leave me this way. Don't leave me this way. Give me something to believe in. Don't leave me this way. Don't leave me this way. Give me something to believe in. Your daddy was a working man. He ain't the best looking fella around. He bought a bride over from India. She moved in a house on Kakapo Street. It was a little strange, you had to think, but you were turning sweet 16 and your dreams are big and free. Everybody's doing their best. It's a holy mess. Everybody's saying their prayers. At the end of the day, don't leave me this way. Don't leave me this way. Give me something to believe in. Don't leave me Everybody's doing their best. It's a holy mess. Everybody's saying their prayers at the end of the bed. Don't leave me this way. Don't leave me this way. Give me something to believe in. Oh no, no. Don't leave me this way. Don't leave me this way. Give me something to believe in. Don't leave me this way. Don't leave me this way. Give me something to believe in. Don't leave me this way. Don't leave me this way. Give me something to believe in. Oh no.
Hello, everybody. That wasn't Luke Hurley, as you quickly realised. It was my friend Jackie Bristow, who I met recently doing a concert with Barry Saunders at the Cannon Heath home concert, house concert, organised by Simon and Pip. And I got an album of Jackie's there. She did a wonderful show. She's actually been based in New Zealand most of last year, but was previously living in Los Angeles and before that in Nashville. So she's had quite a career as a singer-songwriter in the States, but wonderful New Zealand roots and still considers New Zealand her home. And if you hear of her being on tour, do go and take the opportunity to listen to her songs and her presentation. She's quite stunning. So back to information. We haven't given you much information on the show so far. I'd just like to tell you about more two-wheeled activity. This is the Motocross Championship, New Zealand Motocross Grand Prix in Woodville, which is on the weekend of January the 30th and 31st. So that's a little bit ahead of where we are now, a couple of weeks away, but well worth putting on your calendar. There's going to be the cream of New Zealand motocross competing there. So I'm just going to find my my list of information for what's happening in the Wairarapa. Today's Thursday the 14th, as we've said before. Just going through some of the things that are available today. There's a danceability class in Greytown from 10:30 till 11:30 at the St John's Hall. Contact is Rachel Horwell Physio. That's obviously available for everybody to attend. Danceability class. And that's be a lot of fun. And then there's the Carterton Community Choir tonight, meeting in the Carterton Primary School on Holloway Street. 7:15 it starts, goes till 9, led very ably by Stephen Judd. A lot of lovely songs are sung there, not all choral pieces. There's contemporary, there's a bit of a cappella, there's some old madrigals. They really explore the whole range of songs that choirs can sing. And then today is the Petanque Club Day in Masterton at Queen Elizabeth Park. That's at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Call Marana Lane on 377-3064 if you want to find out more about the Masterton Petanque Club. The Red Star Table Tennis Club meets this evening, 5 till 7 o'clock, at the Red Star Sports Association, 10 Herbert Street. Peter or Brian are the contacts for that. Peter's phone number is 027 566 4664, or Brian on 377 4066. That's for the Red Star Table Tennis Club. Not just hitting balls. Table tennis is a lot more skillful than that, and of course there's that social element where you get to know fellow table tennis enthusiasts. Talking about enthusiasts, there's the line dancing enthusiasts who meet at the Red Star Club Rooms in Herbert Street also from 1 until 2:30 today. It's the intermediate line dancing group, the Waka Ori Ori Shufflers, they are known as. And there's a phone number here with no name. If you want to call to find out more about the Waka Ori Ori Shufflers, ring 377-5518. And I have a friend who's a very keen line dancer, Jilly, and she waxes lyrical about the fun, the enjoyment, the fitness, and the appreciation of music that goes with line dancing. Going on to tomorrow, Friday the 15th, never forget about Aratoi. The exhibitions at Aratoi are sometimes out of this world, always interesting and of a very high quality. And at the moment, there's Angela Busby and Dennis Handyside's exhibition, Out of the Woods. That goes on till the 14th of February. And there's the Family Tree Wakapapa by the Slavic sisters, Madeline and her sisters, photographs and drawings. I think I've seen it, I should know. I think there's even some paintings, but Madeline's contribution is definitely photographic. But that's in the Wesley Wing at Aratoi. And it's also till February the 14th. And there are other exhibitions there, particularly the Crystal Chain Gang in Flux. That is spectacular in the main gallery. And of course there's Sam Drucker-Jones exhibition there till March the 7th. Friday seems to be packed with activities, actually. There's the Free Community Fit Club at 6 o'clock. And then again at 11 o'clock in Carterton at the Carrington Park, Free Community Fit. So you can go there to get into a fitness group. The first one's at 6 in the morning, that's tomorrow morning, and the second one at 11 o'clock for you late starters. The craft market is open 7 days in Carterton on High Street. There's a kids sing and song session, fun songs, finger plays and stories for under fives in the Epiphany Church Hall on High Street in Masterton. That starts at 9:30 on Friday morning. It just goes for an hour. So you folk with under 5-year-olds, if you want to have some fun and watch them play and even learn a little bit with stories and songs, head to the Epiphany Church Hall tomorrow morning at 9:30. And then in Greytown, there's the music and movement for preschoolers. That's at 10 o'clock Friday morning, St. Luke's Hall on Main Street. You can just turn up there, I think. There is an email, but I'm not going to tell you the email. It's too complicated. And then also at Carrington Park in Carterton, they seem to have a lot going on there. It's 6 till 7 on Friday evening. There's the Dance Fit gathering. So you go there to groove and get fit all at the same time by dancing. Hey. On a more serious note, the Masterton Masters Swimming Club meets on Friday nights 6 till 7 o'clock at the Genesis Recreation Centre in the back pool. And Stu and Lucy helped to organise that. Stu's on 027 295 4189 and Lucy is on 021 0204 4144. I think we better get through Saturday or else we're going to be short of information going through the next 7 days. The Wairarapa Farmers Market, of course, at the Solway Showgrounds, Saturday morning, 9 until 1 p.m. Well worth a visit. The coffee's pretty good. You can buy freshly toasted muesli, all sorts of things to eat, pies. There's lovely Lebanese baklava and various pastries there. And there's Pip with her vegan selection. There's Kate's kombucha. I'm just reeling off a few of my favourites. And, of course, the pies from Wakelands, supplied by Helen and her husband. That's a lovely place to go and find something scrummy to eat. Anyway, that's the Wairarapa Farmers Market. And then there's the Featherston Weekly Market from 8 till 2 at 33 Fitzherbert Street in Featherston. I can't tell you much about that because I've never been to it, but I do notice it's always on a Saturday. So that's a bit of competition for the Wairarapa Farmers Market in Masterton. Then there's the Hospice Wairarapa Support Services. This is just information, really, letting you know it's available free of charge for anyone dealing with a terminal illness. There's a phone number there, 06 378 8888, and they are very experienced, very supportive and available, and you can actually find things out that are very useful from the people at the Wairarapa Hospice. Again, the phone number, 378 8888. Women's Self-Defence with Dion. That's on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock at the Band Rotunda in Queen Elizabeth Park. Obviously, there's no one else playing music in the Band Rotunda at that time, but there might well be a cricket match on the Oval, so you could take in a bit of self-defence learning while you watch the cricket. Good luck. There's a park run, a weekly park run, 5K, run or walk, leaving from Woodside, the Woodside end of the Greytown Rail Trail. So that's just a couple of Ks out from Greytown towards the mountains. The Woodside end of the Greytown Rail Trail, a run that takes you about 5K through the countryside. One-time registration is essential, and you go to a website to book in for that, just to let them know you're coming, parkrun.co.nz/Greytown Woods Side Trail. It's all one word. Greytown Woodside Trail, all lowercase. Anyway, you should be able to find that. A couple of museums that are open on Saturday. The Martinborough Museum from 11:30 till 3:30. Same on Sunday, although it shuts at 1:30, opens at 11:30. That's on Memorial Square at Martinborough. And the Featherston Heritage Museum behind the Featherston Library, Saturday and Sunday from 10 till 2, other times by arrangement. And I could recommend you take a look at the museums in the district, because there's a lot of local history there, very interesting stuff, and you never know, you might find something out about somebody you know. Moving on to Sunday, we've got the Greytown Country Market at the Stella Bull Park next to the White Swan. That kicks off at 10 o'clock and goes till 2 on Sunday, and then the Carterton Farmers Market on High Street is from 9 till 12:30. So lots of markets, both Saturday and Sunday, all over the district. There's the Wairarapa Model Era Club meeting at 9 o'clock till midday at the Masterton Aerodrome on Sunday, and that's spectacular. If you've got children, probably need to be 4 or 5 years old or more, up to about 45 or 50, and you want to show them some planes in action, well, these model planes are spectacular. I'm not sure that you can actually get to fly one, but you can certainly enjoy watching them. It's at the Wairarapa Model Aero Club on Sunday, 9 o'clock till noon. So that's the end of the weekend as far as I can see, which gives me a chance to play another song. And this one I hope I get right for you. It's Ramon York, who's an old friend of mine. He used to be the lead guitarist in a band called Ragnarok. They were a glam rock band back in the 70s. And I lent him my guitar at one point, one of the guitars I had. So he's thanked me for lending him my guitar. And 18 years later, I tracked him down and got it back. So anyway, here's Ramon York with a song called Given.
As deception of form, sight of form means understanding has been obscured. The goal of the curriculum, regardless of the teacher you choose, is know thyself. There is nothing else to seek. This is your part in bringing peace. For you have asked what is your function here, and have been answered. Seek not to change it, nor to substitute another goal. This one was given you, only this. Truth is restored to you through your desire, as it was lost to you through your desire for something else. The goal of the curriculum, regardless of the teacher you choose, is know thyself. There is nothing else to see. Seek not to change it, nor to substitute another goal. This one was given you, only this. The goal of the curriculum, regardless of the teacher you choose, is know thyself. There is nothing else to seek.
Hello. Well, that was Ramon York, an album of his put out about 10 years ago, probably. recorded even earlier than that. It was called Given, and that song was the title track, Given, played on my J50 guitar. A beautiful finger-picking style that Ramon's developed. So now I'm going to try and get the Warwick Murray brothers, well, let's say Warwick Murray and his brother, called the Murray Brothers, playing Funky Jandle. Let's see if we can get these guys up onto the... We'll have to leave the Murray brothers there. That was Warwick and his two brothers, giving us a good crack of Funky Jandle, which was a song that he actually wrote. That's one of his type of rhythm and blues numbers. When I get Warwick back to sit in the studio with me in a couple of weeks, We'll play his album Smile. We'll play a couple of songs from that. I should be able to track them down by then. So, events in the Wairarapa. Move, mingle and play, everybody. You can get out there. This is what's happening. So you need to move to get there. You mingle with the people when you are there, and you look for the chance to play a bit. And on Monday, they've got spontaneous dance on at the Featherston Community Centre. So that's at 6:30 till 8 o'clock with Pavla Miller organising that. 022 075 3867. Pavla Miller, to organise yourselves to join the spontaneous dance class. Also in Featherston on Monday is the Featherston Music Club, 7 till 9 o'clock. Sean O'Brien organises that, 027 672 6249. Those of you who want to join in, I imagine a music club is a place you go to play music. It might be where you go to listen, but I think it's take an instrument. But anyway, ring Sean. Again, he's on 027 672 6249, and you can find out all about it. So Monday is amongst us, and we're moving on to Art for Everyone, also in Featherston. Golly, they have a lot of stuff on in Featherston. It must be the creative capital of the Wairarapa. So Art for Everyone at the Featherston Community Centre, 7 till 9 p.m. Sandy organises that, 021 157 4909. And I suspect that is a participatory art project where you just go and paint and draw and sculpt and whatever. Call Sandy anyway and she'll tell you more about it. Also on Monday is the Play Gym at the St James Church Hall on 116 High Street, Masterton. That's 9:30 till 11 for 0 to 3-year-olds. A play gym. So for you mums who are getting a bit fraught after the weekend, having the kids with you all the time, and dad, well, you can head down to the play gym on Monday morning and join your friends with their little ones. There's a free community fit club. I think we've talked about that on Friday. Well, that also happens on Monday at the Carrington Park in Carterton. It might actually happen every day during the week. Free Community Fit Club, 6 o'clock in the morning is the first one, and 11 o'clock in the morning. Carrington Park, Carterton. So head down there and you'll start adding to your fitness. Di organises that, 027 498 7261. I'm going to have to wind the show up. I'm afraid I can give you one thing that's happening on Tuesday, and that's also dance fitness in Featherston at the Fareham House Hall, 6:30 to 7:30. Call Justine on 0204 105 2830. And then on Wednesday, there's the Carterton Cycle Group, an informal group of leg power and e-power cyclists. Leaves at 9:30 a.m. from the Belvedere Road for a 20k ride, or a 40 or a 60k ride. So that's quite a commitment there. You call Irene on 027 634 9167 or Leslie on 021 299 6389. Well, that's pretty much all we've got time for today. I'm going to wind the show up. Thank you for listening. I hope you've enjoyed the music. I hope you've enjoyed the discussion that Warwick and I had about issues that are affecting all of us. Globalization, climate change, changes with COVID, political leadership around the world, and our very favourite subject, which we share, of performance music and writing songs and recording them. We'll talk more about that when I get him back in the studio. So for now, from me Rob Maunsell, Move, Mingle and Play, signing out for the week.